Okay, now we're done with the intro of the housing project, and now it's going to start getting individual or personal to you. So before you shop for your own home, how much can you afford? This is going to have to do with that front end ratio we've been practicing calculating on the mortgage side. So, how much of a house can you afford to buy? So, the first thing you need is you need to go into your drive and you need to search for your career poster. And your career poster should be in your drive from last semester. If you're new to the class this semester, you're going to quickly create one. And so, for example, Miss Sanchez is a math teacher, ha ha ha, and I'm in Oceanside. And my salary that we researched was 92,800. Now, a side note, I've had a couple students ask me if they can switch jobs at this point. For example, at the beginning of the semester, one, they were thinking that they wanted to do one job, but since then they've now enrolled in school. They know what they're doing after graduation, and it's leading in a different pathway. So you totally can change your job at this time um, to something different, but please change it on this slide because at the end of the year, we put this slide into the project and it needs to match the housing project slide, whichever career you chose. So I'm still going to be a teacher, but if you want to switch yours, go ahead. So I'm going to take this slide and I'm going to snip it and put it right into this slide. So can you guys please go and copy your career poster and put it in here so that we can see what your job is that you're doing and how much you make. Okay, so now we're going to go do some calculations based on this income, and you have a couple of decisions to make here. So it says to find 28% of your gross monthly income to see how much of a payment you can afford. So I need to take my income of 92,800 and divide it by 12. And then I'm going to take 28% of that monthly number. $7,733 and 33 cents per month. And then I just need 28% of that. Okay, so that's telling me 2165 and 33 cents. Now, I want you to screenshot this Desmos work in there, but please don't leave all that dead space. Scoot it in and then screenshot it, please, so we can clearly see it. 2165.33. Now you might be thinking, 2,100 a month. That sounds pretty reasonable to find a house these days. But can we afford a house for that amount in Oceanside? And this is why some students started shopping in other states and started shopping outside of California. So it's up to you. But here comes the fun part. We had great conversations in my class about this. This whole project is based on you 5 years after your experience or schooling, basically about 10 years from now. So picture if you're around 17 now, 18 now, this is what we're talking about when you're 27 or 28 years old. And so what I asked students is, do you expect to be married at that time? If you expect to be married in 10 years, then you're going to be able to count spousal income. Then we had a lot of fun with this conversation. what do you think your spouse is going to earn? Some people said they're not marrying their person unless that person is a professional and earns at least $150,000 a year. So then we got into these big long arguments about who are you going to marry and how much they should earn. So how much can you count for spousal income? If you want to count at least, I don't know, 60 or 80,000, I'd say that that's a normal projected average salary in about 10 years. Okay. What is like a lot of you guys have really high incomes that you're calculating. See how for a math teacher, I'm saying 92,000. Some of you are putting down jobs with 150,000, 120,000. That's a great goal. Some of you will be making that, but many of you are going to be making between 80 and 100, a more realistic salary than you're expecting. So to count both of you at around 80,000, I think is realistic. To count both of you, saying combined income of 160,000, something like that. But you guys, I got to be honest, some of you are going really high on the income and it's not realistic. But hey, whatever you have down, if you think in 10 years you're going to be married, feel free to add spousal income to this. So now I'm going to add spousal income of 80,000. Miss Sanchez did get married at 27, exactly the time I'm talking about. You guys might be thinking about. So 92,000 plus 80,000 is now going to be 172,800. So now I'm going to go divide that 172,000 by 12. And so now I've got 14,400 as my monthly. And 28% of that is a $4,000 mortgage, 4,032. Now I'm going to be able to buy more house. Sorry, there's the doggies. Now I'm going to be able to buy more house counting that spouse. Okay. So if you do not expect to be married in 10 years or have a partner that you'd be buying a house with, please do not count that spousal income at this time. So I'm going to go change this and put in the correct Desmos work. Remember not to have any dead space. So bottom line on this slide, think about it. 10 years. Can you picture being married? And then add that in. If you want to try to just afford it on your own, that's fine too. Okay, this slide is done with those calculations. On the next slide, we're going to talk about what to do with this 4,032.